Hey guys, welcome to another podcast. So I'm going to keep these coming because I actually got quite a bit of comments on my last one and the one I did before this. So we're just going to keep discussing topics that I get. So right now I'm sitting outside in my convertible car outside my house. Just got home from work, and before I left work, I happened to see an article that Lane Norton posted, and it was really interesting. It was from a Journal of Applied Science, and if you haven't checked that website out, it's where they post a bunch of different studies and new studies that come out. And sometimes the meta-analysis, if I can talk right, are a little hard to understand. But usually by the end of the abstract, it kind of goes into detail more, and you can kind of get more of an idea of what they actually did in the study and stuff. So anyway, to stop rambling off that, Lane posted this post that showed that in a meta-analysis just recently done, they showed that females they didn't show this in males, which was interesting, but I'm sure to some partake it would also occur in males. But it'd be interesting to see that done too. But for females anyway, which is interesting because a lot of my female clients are people that ask me a lot of these same questions about fat burning and how can I spot reduce fat and stuff like that. And one thing that always gets brought up is fasted cardio. I don't know. I don't know where this ever came in, but this has been a very popular topic within the past year probably, I'd say at least, but probably more than that. Fasted cardio has always been known, if you train fasted, you're more likely to burn fat because you don't have anything in your system, okay? Now, there is some truth to that in a dynamometer, but the truth total, with everything factored in, it doesn't matter if you're in a fed state or a fasted state. At the end of the day, you're going to burn the same amount of fat. But let me go into detail what I meant by, in some cases, it's true. So, fasted cardio will oxidize fat calories more easier while being fasted than in a fed state, okay? So they have shown you actually burn more fat during the workout. But guess what? You actually burn less fat throughout the day. So a person that trains in a fed state might burn less fat during their training, but they'll burn more fat during the day. So at the end of the day, it's equal. Whatever route you choose, fasted or fed, whatever floats your boat, it's going to all equal out in the end. There is no secret way to lose fat. There's no secret way to spot reduce fat. I've had clients also tell me that in the cases of being super lean, when you're at that lean stage where you're just hanging on to like that stubborn body fat, that if you do fasted cardio, they happen to see that it works or something. And a lot of times that just comes because they're in more of a caloric deficit and over the day because they've dropped their calories back now. So a lot of times what I'll have clients do is I have some that prefer to do all their training fasted just because they don't feel like training when they come home from work. And I get that. I understand that completely. I used to do that a long time ago too. But them being in a fasted state, they think they are, they have this good workout in the morning before they go to work fasted. And a lot of times when you train in the morning fasted, you're gonna have more luck, a lot of people anyway, with hitting their required nutrients and macros for the day. And what happens when you hit your macros for the day and your calories and you're in a deficit, you're gonna lose fat. So a lot of times this is just anecdotal, that just by training in the morning, training fasted, you are on a streak to eating more, whole foods, like I don't like the word clean foods. I hate the word clean foods. Whole foods, lower calorie, more voluminous foods. So you feel like you're eating more, but at the same time you're not. So think about this question. Those days that you don't train, I know I used to be guilty of this. The days that I wouldn't work out, I'd feel like I didn't have to be as strict with my calories. Like I feel like I could have candy here and there or snacks throughout the day. I did that early on before I started tracking macros. So if you're doing that, if you're working out, at night and you're not following a specific, calories or macro recommendations and you're just training at night and you're still having trouble losing fat, look back not at the fact that you're not training fasted, look back at the fact that you might be, eating more than you're actually tracking for that day. In the end, I'm always going to come down to the same thing in the end. It comes down to how many calories you take in. Protein, carbs, and fats, macronutrients do matter, but the most important thing to take into context when talking about losing fat is calories in versus calories out. You don't even have to hit your macros. If you're in a deficit, I recommend it because I definitely recommend getting your protein, your fats, and your carbs just to, help with performance reasons mainly. But also, and when you're in a deficit, you can be a lot more flexible with your macros. As long as you're in a deficit, you'll lose fat. So there's no need for fasted cardio. I'm going to link the abstract actually in this description of the video if I can remember to do that. But if not, go check out Layne Norton's page on Facebook. He posted it this morning, and the date today is Friday, June 10th. So look back on his wall and click on the abstract and view it. It's really interesting. It's interesting that it was shown in females, but they didn't really show it in males, which I still, I don't have any male clients that train fasted anymore, but I used to. And I always told them the same thing, whatever works for you personally is what you should do. In the end of the day, macros and calories and macros is what it comes down to. So if you like training in a fed state, I used to like doing that. I trained in a fed state for years, but I found that once I started eating a giant meal, like 3 hours before I trained, and then I would train, my gains just grew like crazy. So much more than when I trained in a fasted state. I was able to gain strength, more muscle, just everything changed for the better. So if it works for you, training fasted, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Some people just prefer it. People say taking BCAAs before fasted training, and you got to laugh at that because you're taking BCAAs, you're not fasted anymore. I know a lot of people, even from the people that do lean gains and intermittent fasting and stuff, they'd say they fast and they take BCAAs. They're not necessarily in a fasted state anymore. So if you say you're doing fasted training and take BCAAs, you're not doing fasted training. You're still taking in calories, but they're such minuscule that there's no need to even, I don't have my clients, and I don't track BCAAs myself. I do supplement with BCAAs because I do feel it helps just with hunger mainly. Because I do prefer to wait later in the day to eat just because it's easier for my schedule. I don't have to wake up early to eat a breakfast. I can just go on with my day. And I do supplement with BCAAs. So no, I'm not in a fasted state by any means because I take BCAAs, but I just wait to eat till later on. So you can do that too, flexibility is key here. You can structure your diet any way you can eat. You can eat before your workout. You can eat after your workout. You can eat 12 o'clock at night. You can eat ice cream at bed. You can do pretty much anything as long as you just stay in the in the terms of calories and macros to an extent, and you'll see progress. So done ranting there. I'm gonna go train some bench and heavy deadlift, some heavy deadlifts and bench. I'm gonna try to heavy deadlift tonight. My rehab is still going pretty strong with deadlifts. I can't really deadlift past anything. On this last Monday, I deadlifted 240. I couldn't deadlift 245 pounds. I couldn't even get it up for one rep without pain. So tonight I'm gonna try to continue to rehab this deadlift back. Bench though, I should be able to progress on. But that was just a little training update. So I'm gonna go train, guys. Have a good weekend. I'll see if I do another podcast. But if not, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next time. Like this video for support, and thank you guys.